Another household held hostage by a sleepless infant. 18-month-old Victoria Brigden just can't be comforted by her mother, Marceline.
When she wakes up at night, you can't really console her.
Neither can her father, Nels.
A lot of stress, a lot of stuff. I'm almost eager to go to work.
But Victoria's sleeplessness is not the only problem.
Dinner time is very stressful.
And there's more.
She follows me around everywhere I go. If I go to do laundry, she's there behind me down the stairs and constantly calling me, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy," you know, wanting to know where I am all the time. You know, when we go out somewhere, she is, you know, very upset about us leaving.
Marceline Brigden's smile at the birth of Victoria, her second daughter, masked a problem that was etched into the relationship from the very first moments.
She's never been a baby that really likes to be held.
Marceline's story is strikingly similar to Catherine's. She, too, has a child she feels she can't cuddle. And like Catherine, her second pregnancy was a good deal more difficult than the first.
And, you know, what was the pregnancy like? Was she planned?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She was planned, but I had a very difficult pregnancy with her.
Did you?
I was sick. I was hospitalized right early in the beginning. I had hyperemesis, which is constant vomiting.
And Victoria's difficult arrival placed more blocks in the way of their early relationship.
I was on intravenous. I couldn't hold the baby because I had catheter and I had IV, and they took the baby at night for the first. I was in the hospital for 4 nights with her. So, yeah, it was pretty rough.
The children are put through a series of tests, and it turns out they are all developing as they should physically, but not emotionally. The focus then turns to the relationship they have formed with their mothers. This is the strange situation test. Victoria has been left in the room with a friendly stranger. When Marceline returns, the quality of the relationship is measured by how easily they cuddle, how quickly the child is settled, how close they seem. The conclusion is, these children suffer from insecure attachment. Marceline Brigden is heading for the Hinks. For her and Victoria, the tests are over. Now starts the serious work, the play. Therapist Liz Muir is laying out a room full of toys for Victoria in the belief that an 18-month-old child who can barely speak can still communicate and can somehow show her mother what is really bothering her.
Their way of trying to express how they're feeling or give voice to their needs is through play and activity. And so when we're working with babies and toddlers, we pay a lot of attention to that because it's our way of trying to understand. She'll start to see this little girl more objectively, just see her for who she is. And in the course of that, she'll start to understand more and more about what's going on in her mind, what bothers Victoria, what she's struggling with, because Victoria will show us through her play.
This is Marceline and Victoria's first session in an 8-week program called Watch, Wait, and Wonder. For the first half of their 1-hour visit, Victoria will lead the play. Then there will be discussion. Liz Muir reminds Marceline of the rules.
Okay, do you remember the instructions?
Right, just sit on the floor and keep eye contact with her.
Follow her lead at all times. No takeover or initiating the activity. Let her always be the initiator.
Okay. I remember.
In a room full of toys, Victoria goes immediately to the doll, and the first thing she does is put it to bed. Her mother says she never plays with dolls, but today the child who doesn't sleep is preoccupied with them.
The other thing she was doing with the dolls was she was feeding the dolls with the baby bottles. And Marceline was saying in the session that she's having a struggle at the moment, not only around the feeding at the table, but that she is wanting to help Victoria give up the bottle. So the battle around the bottle is very important, so she fed herself a little bit quickly and furtively, but then she fed the baby. So there are two preoccupations of Marceline's and Nell's right in there, in the play.
I was really amazed by this. I think it is exactly.
In subsequent play sessions, Victoria uses the toys to help her mother understand other things that are bothering her.
She would get this, stethoscope on, and she would be, banging it on me and hitting me with it as hard as she could. Liz said to me, "What do you notice about this session, this one day?" And I said, "Well, she seems very aggressive with this doctor's kit." And she was trying to hit me with it, and I was kind of saying, "No, don't do this." She said, "Well, how did it make you feel?" And I said, "Well, scared that she was going to hit me." And she said, "Well, maybe that's the way she's feeling towards the doctor."
After just a couple of hours of watching her child play, Marceline begins to understand Victoria's behavior in the doctor's office.
And if he comes in, well, she's just nuts. Like he has to lean on her to hold her down, like to look at her.
Does he? Does he?
Because she'll be kicking him and hitting him, and
Really?
yeah, and he hasn't done anything to her. Like he's trying to listen to her heart.
When Victoria plays doctor a few weeks later, she is notably more gentle. It turns out she visited the real doctor this week, and Marceline, with her new sensitivity to her daughter's fears, made an extra effort to comfort her.
I mean, she was upset, but she calmed down very quickly. It'll be interesting over the next couple weeks to see what else, comes out. Yeah, from just watching her play.
At about the same time, Victoria too has found a way of communicating without screaming. Out of all her wakeful nights, this is the first time she has reached out for her mother.
She was holding on to my hand, fairly, she had a good grasp of it, and then she grabbed onto my baby finger and was holding my baby finger, and I thought, geez, this is something like a real newborn does. Like that's something, and it was, I don't know, it was a good feeling. Like I thought, oh, geez, it felt like she wanted me there, she needed me there.
I think you're right on the point of discovering something really important.
The discovery was that Marceline was able to comfort her baby in a way that she was never able to before. So for the first time in 18 months, Victoria was able to sleep peacefully through the night. In the Brigden household, there has also been a setback.
This is just a note to say that Marceline had called yesterday to talk about her frustration about the lack of progress. She talked of leaving Victoria with a babysitter and said that she wouldn't settle with the sitter.
Mommy and Daddy gonna come soon?
She indicated that both she and Nels were feeling frustrated. I encouraged her to bring these concerns up in the session which we will be having today.
From August until now, there hasn't been a dramatic change, and like she's not, now all of a sudden, bang, I can figure out by looking at her, well, she's going to sleep through the night,
Right.
Every night. I guess I was kind of hoping that something was going to, either you were going to say something or point us in some direction or,
Right.
to help us solve that.
In the discussion that followed, it became clearer that there are, in fact, changes underway. Victoria is eating better, is less of a problem at the table, and will now leave the table after she's finished eating, something she wasn't doing before.
This is Victoria now. Remember how she used to be.
Well, this makes it odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, have some dinner, please.
Hi, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Can I have some more garlic bread?
For Nels, Marceline, and Sister Kimberly, a few weeks have made a big difference. In the Brigden home, the watch, waiting, and wondering has worked. Marceline sees a new child in the infant she couldn't cuddle. Just 8 hours of therapy have allowed her to see the world from her daughter's point of view. Attachment theory holds that it is in this loving relationship that the infant finds a template for all other relationships and develops the confidence to explore the world. In her sleeplessness, Victoria had been grasping for security. She now sleeps through the night, and Marceline noticed that the peace came as her play changed.
She would go to this alligator with these teeth and always these horrible animals. I mean, and I kept saying, geez, I don't know why she's going to these animals. And she'd always be pointing at the teeth and telling me about the teeth.
Jeez.
In the last couple sessions, she's been going to the other animals.
Verdes.
She's not looking at this alligator anymore.